What's going on? It's Glendon Cameron, founder of Hustlers Kung Fu, all about making that money without a job. Today, we're going to jump into some really deep stuff. So that you don't miss any episodes, get on that email list below the video for it says don't miss live shows. Just grab that. All right, today we're going to jump into something that many people just don't talk about. You go ahead and you start a business, and many businesses are started on the paradigm of hustle. Just work hard, put in the hours, which is true, but if you want to go to the next level, there will have to be a different way of setting that business up. And setting that business up, it will require systems, protocols, standard operating procedures. You will need these because what's going to happen with your business? People are going to come and go. And you have to have systems that, let's just say, yes, we're back to visual aids, that this is employee A and this is employee B. Employee A leaves, so you want to slide employee B into that slot. And then employee B leaves, and then this is employee C, and you want to slide employee C. You want to have a system that people can be rotated in and out of, because people are going to get better opportunities. People are going to grow. People are going to leave. People are going to get married. People are going to have kids. There's so many things that's going to happen that you're going to consistently have people coming into your organization. And if the people don't leave, then as your organization grows, you still have to have folks come in and be trained to do the things that the business requires. So it gets to be really interesting. All right, this is really funny. I had a lot of people who were saying, hey, give advance notice about the live streams. This morning, I sent out an email like 2 hours ahead of time, right? I seem to have more juice 30 minutes before. Just something for those of you who are going to do the digital citizen thing, you're going to be doing online marketing. It's 30 minutes before the webinar to stream seems to be the most effective, or even 15. And a lot of people don't like that. They want more time, but for some reason, I've tested this and I did it again. And yeah, it seems that 30 minutes works much better. Let's go to the chat room. Let's see. Life Warrior, what's up? Kayla Rose, what's up? What's up, Melissa? What's up, Rugged Collars? Let's see. What's up, Kayla? What's up, Diana? Monica? Melissa V, awaited. And Keytor, good morning. What's up, Rob Nelson? Oh, it's real anyways. Amber Village Gifts. That's all kind of people I've never seen before. Jay Judge, 30 minutes makes sense. It sends a sense of urgency. Oh, I just sent it because that's just when I got around to it. That is funny. So people must be coming in at different things. What's up, G Ranks? What's up, Eric? Fashion, what's up? I love the chat room be helping people out. So let's see, what's that looking like? It's pretty clear. It's not as dark in here as it normally is for some reason. We'll not be talking about the Federal Reserves today. One of the things that we're going to do, and something I've been working on for the last 3 months, is staying consistent with the topic. And the topic is how to build that 7-figure business in 2017 that doesn't include any hustler porn. And part of that is some boring stuff that you really can't clean up and you can't make exciting, but it has to be done. Like you have a kid, right? And the kid takes a dump. You got to change the diapers. Is there anything really exciting about changing diapers? Yeah, it has to be done. You could sing a little song, you do whatever, and you could tickle the baby on the belly, but there ain't nothing to hold, unless your kid has had a disease or something, and then the sign of pooping is a good sign and everyone cheers. But other than that, it's one of those down and dirty things that must be done to keep everything on the way it's supposed to be. What's up? Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is, one of the things that I've done, and it's created problems, is I'll have these streams, and toward the end, I don't care. But in the beginning, we've got to stick to business systems. Like What do you have to do to create a business that legitimately, and I'm going to explain that, legitimately is 7 figures? Because see, there's a lot of fake ass 7-figure businesses. And let me tell you how to create a fake ass 7-figure business. You have $50,000, right? Or let's say 5. You can parlay this with 5. What you do is you buy a bunch of ads and you have a product that you take an L on, or you don't make that much margin. Like say the product is $5, you sell it for 6. So you've got enough money to keep playing this game. You got $1 for product, $1 for ads, right? So you keep playing this game, you keep parlaying the money, and next thing you know, you can do a screenshot like last month we did 120,000. We're on our way to our 7-figure year. Now, whenever you start getting into margins and asking specific questions, people start to turn into little bitches, because that's like lifting up the curtain and seeing the Wizard of Oz. Now, a legitimate 7-figure business, in my opinion, because everyone can define stuff the way they want to, is a business that does 7 figures in gross income revenues, and leaves the owner of the business 7 figures after expenses, taxes, and such. That's a legitimate 7-figure business, because the minute that you hit that milestone, not only do you change your life, you change the lives of your children and perhaps even grandchildren if you get a legitimate 7-figure business. Because the number of people who have, quote, $1 million cash, liquid, able to make deals, to do stuff, to turn that cash into real wealth building tools, it's not a lot of people sitting around with $1 million cash somewhere. It's just not. It's not. So that's my thing of a legitimate business. That's my thing of creating these tools and building these things, because typically when you are, let's see, what's a good way to say this? When you're building a business, you're building it to make money. You're not building it to scale. There's a difference between creating a business to make money, and there's a difference between creating a business to scale. You should work on putting together the things so it can scale, because you start making money, right? And you haven't built your business to scale, you're going to hit this ceiling. You're just going to go so far, and it's just, I don't care how hard you work with it, you just can't really do much more. And that's what happens to a lot of people who go into hustle mode and build their business, and they don't have management skills. So it happens to be really, really crazy. Rugged callers, listening to what you do. Do you think of the system of videos as a training aid? Just leave them at a station and let them know if they have any questions, type deal. I'll walk you through how I was trained. And there are many companies who are like, hey, move into this position, watch these videos, read this manual. Now, that type of introduction or onboarding into the company, you'll have a number of people who will be very successful with it. These would be your smarter, more self-learners, very good at studying. It'll be these people. That's actually a fucking small percentage of society. So for better outcomes, you would need training video, manual, and a proctor. That's how I was trained. Dude came down. His name was Lauren. He was from Brockton, Massachusetts, somewhere like that. Comes down, and not only we had the computer, he was sitting right here, gold mine. This is what we do. This is how we label it. And I had to do a lot of independent study on my own, but for 8 hours for a whole week. Okay, and I mean, my head hurt, but I got it, and they trained me once, and I was able to use that training. I still use that training. So that's just to give you an idea of the impact of, it's very expensive, because you think about this. Lauren comes from Boston. He's in a hotel. He's getting his everyday salary, plus these expenses of him coming down, plane ticket, hotel for a week, easily $1,500 back then, easily. Because let's see, yeah, about $1,500 plus his regular salary. So then let's really add it up. Whatever he was making, that had to be going on. So that was a cost of training me. So $1,500 for the plane tickets. I think he was probably doing 50, 60. So 2,500, my income. That week, it cost Rent-A-Crate $4 to $5 grand to train me. They did that to everybody. And that's why it was a really profitable company. And the training sticks when it's done that way. It's very hard. It's time consuming. It's expensive, but you get better employees. You get better business processes. What's up, Ronnie? What's your net, sucker? The JWV. I remember we were having this conversation in one of the groups. I will not say the name of the group. And someone was talking about they were making all this money. And I was just like, what's the net? Because I know how these numbers can look way better than they really are. Because here's another example with digital products. If I have $1 million a year selling digital products, that is almost the equivalent of someone who is selling cheap Chinese imports at super low margins, of them grossing 10 million or 12 for them to get that same million I would get from digital products. So part of that whole thing is, where are you in the food chain? How many people are eating off the plate? And these are things you have to think about, because when you start a company, there's so many things that come into play. You are employee number one. You are the accountant. You are the manual labor. You're the secretary. You answer the phone. So literally, you're overwhelmed. And then to hear this talk of building these expensive, time-consuming things into your business sounds like crazy talk, right? But people who do this typically don't go out of business. So up front, there's this huge, huge investment, right? But on the back end, you get an employee, and based upon what I'm seeing and hearing from people, how many people here who are in the stream who have jobs, how many of your companies have invested $2,000 to $10,000 to train you? Real training, not, watching just a video, reading the manual, but you get an instructor, you get a proctor, you get your questions answered. How many folks work for organizations that do that? Wouldn't the training aids weed out the less desirable employees? Do you want the smarter ones? You do, Jay Judge, you do want the smarter ones, but here's the thing. As an online educator, everyone doesn't learn at the same pace. Everyone doesn't use the same modalities of learning. So let's say we got, back to visual aids. We'll go with employee number A, employee number B. Employee B has an IQ of 175. Employee A has an IQ of 135, but employee B has learning disabilities. So employee A can go ahead through the training, but if you go ahead and give employee B the right training, employee B would put out 3 times the work of employee A because they're a genius. So that's just to illustrate, because on the surface, it seems like someone that can come in, get it, read the manuals, and just hit the ground running. Yeah. But see, typically, people who can do that usually should be able to run their own company. But I didn't tell you that. So you kind of want them a little, they need some hand holding, because, I'm in the midst of trying to hire someone. And if the person realizes how smart they really are, they're going to bolt. But that's a whole nother thing. But typically, the training also enforces loyalty because no one else is doing this. Sacred One, no real training. No training. What's up, Shane? Moment Motivation. It's not my current job, but when I work for Verizon Inbound Sales, they spend a ton on training. Yeah, I mean, that's typically one of the things that many small companies do not take from the larger companies that they should. If you are a small company and you train the shit out of your employees, and yes, they're going to come and go, you're going to get so many multiples out of them compared to the bigger company. Because small companies just aren't doing it. GM Dearborn, okay. The JWB, I've never worked for a company that put that much into training. Out of all my jobs, I would say 200 to 400 was the top investment in training. One of the things, and this was really funny when I was talking to Shannon, He was still only running the credit because he came down here because we were doing a trade show. And I was just saying, well, I'm listening to Earl Nightingale lead the field. And then he's like, I noticed that your closing rate on calls went way up. What did you do? I said, well, I went out, and this is, pre-Amazon. Actually, Amazon was around, but this was one of these offbeat websites, and I found this book, and it was just about it's a red and black cover. I can't find it. I know people ask me for it. And the guy was just a genius on the telephone. And then another guy, his name was Jeff. We used to network. We used to call it dialing for dollars. And every day we would call each other. And I was like, what'd you do? And we talk about the assholes and people who hung up on us. So I created my own training program. I went out and found someone to talk to about it. And it got to the point I was doing some stuff. Dude just like gave me his laptop to work on because he's like, hey, man, you're doing stuff. Let me help you out. And that book was pivotal because there was just few techniques that I got people to call me back. And the guys at the front desk was like, how are you getting these people to call you back? Because Shanley came down and it was talking about it. And it was just like, they actually called back. It's like, what are you doing? And it was just these few little techniques. And it wasn't like earth-shattering stuff. I mean, I read the book from cover to cover, but there was 5 things that made the difference. 5 things that I started doing that I did not know to do before. And my rate went straight up. And that's just the benefit of training. It's that important. But when you are a small company, it's hard to see that because all you see is all that money going out and it's not coming in. But another thing is, it's about starting off with a product or service that can scale. And like Rugged Collars, I know some of his situations, he makes dog collars. So if you got a dog and you need some nice handmade collar, he can do it. Now, his thing is he does a really good job. He's got a serious customer base, but he is the business, and he would have to invest in a lot of this training to become, quote, the business owner, which would be expensive and time consuming. So that's one of the things why when you do that, it just makes it so much harder to go to the next or the third or the fourth or the fifth level because the infrastructure isn't there. Now he's done things to move forward and, he's on that path, but that's typically when someone hires me, I have to go in and look at what they're doing and keep what works and get rid of what doesn't work. And it can be simple stuff and it can be complex stuff, so many things. But part of it is, and this is why companies have management layers. Let's say you're the founder of your company, right? And you're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, all of that. But you don't know how to create an org chart. You don't know how to train anybody. You don't know how to do payroll. You don't know how to do marketing. You don't even know how to hire and manage people. All those skill sets are super important, and any one of them can tank your company if they're not done right. So you come in there and then through just sheer hustle and determination, you build something and you're making money, but you're working like a big dog. You're stroking it out, not taking a lot of time off. I've been there. And that's one of the things that I've learned to do, create systems, because one of the reasons I went from physical products to digital products was the internet lends itself to simple systems, to the part of you can automate a lot of stuff online, but due to all the people who are coming online and all of the tools online, many people are feeling a little cold. They're kind of like, I was having this conversation in a group, and it was just like a lot of people want a relationship. When I say relationship, people were talking about a deep and enduring relationship. That's not what I meant. It was like, hey, you acknowledge, like everybody here, if you let somebody into the lane when you're driving and they don't give you the hands up, how many folks are pissed off? Just put that in the comments. You let someone in, traffic's mad crazy. You let them in and they just scoot in and they saw that you let them in. They did not give you the wave. They did not give you the verbal thank you. They just scooted in and no hands up, no thanks. So how many of you are just feeling like that motherfucker? That bitch. How many of you said that? Just curious. Pharaoh, me. I dislike babysitting. Love babies that stay with their parents. Well, training isn't babysitting, because you got to look at this. All right, let's go with employee A, employee B. We're switching around. Employee A, employee B. Okay. Employee A comes in and you don't train them and they make you a multiple. You pay them 30 grand and they do about 90,000 of work. Employee B comes in, you train them, you spend the money, and they do about $300,000 worth of work and they're paid the same. So that's the benefit of training. That's not babysitting. It's not babysitting. It's training people to be more efficient, to make you more money. That's what it is. Melissa, yeah, I think that's going to be my problem soon. My goal is to make enough that my guy can quit his job and do this with me full time. But till he can, I'm going to have to figure out some help. JWB, always tempted to just ram them when they don't acknowledge it. Yep, that's up, G. Me, I give them that look, okay? At that moment, which is literally seconds of you making that decision that, hey, I'm going to let this person in, and they don't give you the hands up, that's a relationship. And it's a relationship that they screwed up. And then enough people do it, then you become influenced like, fuck it, I ain't letting anybody in. They don't acknowledge my overture of my gesture of kindness. Fuck the world. That's the importance of the relationship. So when I say relationships, I'm not talking about you sending them flowers, but if they're high-end clients, that will work. I will tell you a story. Don't let me forget, put roses if you want to hear the roses story. That really was highly inappropriate, but fuck it, it worked. But those things, so you get people in your corporation that create relationships with your customers. Your customers are going to stick with you much, much longer. Much, much longer. And if you know anything about building a business, one of the biggest costs of business is acquiring customers. So if you can get someone into your income chain and keep them year after year after year after year, you don't have to keep repeating that cost of acquiring that customer. Kindness is fine and holding the nope. Oh, this is funny. People got emoticons and all these little gifts or whatever I know they're in your phone because I got all kinds of stuff. I got the Kevin Hart app. I mess with people all the time with that. I'll tell you, this is funny. This is reminding me of the early days of Craigslist. All right, I'll just jump into it. I had this client. Now, this was a $500,000 furniture deal. I would go on appointments and she was like this. Yeah, hold on. I mean, the first 2 meetings were like that. So I needed to break through because if she's doing me like that, she's doing everybody like that. I mean, I talked to her assistant and I was like, she's always like that. She says, today's a good day. But she was controlling that deal. And I was frustrated. Someone else I knew, we were both chasing the same deal. He's like, what a bitch, right? So I was walking and I passed a flower store and fuck it. So I went in, I got a dozen roses. Yeah, she was attractive now that I think about it. But that wasn't my angle. That wasn't my angle at all. So I sent the roses and I put, please put these on the desk. So when you look at the roses, you can actually look at me when I present my sales pitch. That's what I put on the card. The guy at the store was kind of like, you sure you want to send this? I'm like, yep. It's like $85 for delivery and stuff. So I sent it. Then I'm home and it's like 7 o'clock at night. My cell goes off and it's her. I was like, hey, what's going on? Because I didn't expect the phone call, right? And she's like, having such a hard time. And, there's these things going on and no one has ever sent me roses to my job. And I just want to say thank you. And whatever time you want to meet, let's sit down and talk. So the next time I go in, she's super nice. She's not on the phone. She's not doing that thing. And I got the deal. No, I did not go out with her. No, I did not smash. And none of that happened. It was just a way, because you can't sell anyone anything unless you get their attention. You can't do it. And I knew I was just sitting there like, this ain't going nowhere. This is just like, whoop, circling around. So that's how roses got me a $500,000 deal. So what's up, Patches? What's up, Dan? I mean, these are the things that you do with old school selling, which is this, you know, here's the internet. It's not going anywhere. These things still work very well. If you got someone that's really hard to reach and the deal is big enough, you can send somebody some scotch. You could send somebody a book. Like one thing, like, you know, when you do appointments, one of the things I learned was to scan their office and kind of see, like, this one dude that was trying to pitch, he had a whole bunch of architecture books. And I just, you know, snuck a picture with my crappy Trio, you know, because cell phone pictures back in the day were nothing like they are now. And I took a few pictures and I had to transfer them to my computer to blow them up because I could barely see the shit. And I found one that he didn't have. And I sent it to him. I said, hey, I see you like architecture. Maybe you like this. Dude was like, man, I've been looking for that for a long time. Boom, got the deal. So when you do other stuff that people don't even know to do, I'm not even going to say this is stuff that, you know, other people, a lot of folks don't even know that you can do this stuff. I mean, spending between $30 to $100 on a deal that's well worth it. And it doesn't always work, but it does help you. G comes. Is that a sausage? Is that a sausage, man? What the hell is that gift? All right. Nicholas Parkinson. Nicholas, what do you think about an 18-year-old like myself joining the military and starting an online business like an active duty entrepreneur? I think that's an excellent idea. Number one, you're 18. You should get the fuck out your parents' house. The military will help you do that. And, you know, part of this, a little advice, get the highest ASVAB score you can so you have more options with MOSs. Because if you get a highly technical MOS, then you're not going to be doing 11 bang bang up there in the front line stuff. Now, if you get attached to an infantry unit, even if you're not 11 bang bang, you will be treated as if you're 11 bang bang. But yeah, that's a great idea. I don't know what you're talking about. Eggplant is supposed to represent. Oh, okay. I didn't know. I'm new to this stuff. Y'all are teaching me these things. I didn't know that. Primer, be patient. I didn't see it. Okay, I don't know nothing about that. I'm not even gonna touch that with anyone else's penis. I'm not messing with that. But typically, the first few things that you should do when you are building your business is figure out who you're going to be selling to. You can do this before you get your LLC. You can do this before you build your website. Figure out who you're going to be selling to and figure out who else is selling to those people and be different with your presentation. That's the first thing, because I've seen people spend literally millions of dollars entering the market because they had very educated assumptions and the shit went bad. It's testing. I got a client right now. We're getting ready to do a ton of testing. And typically I'm real honest with my clients. And I was like, look, this is going to be expensive, but it's going to be less expensive than if you go ahead and do what you want to do and it fails. It's going to be way less expensive than that. So that's the first thing. Then once you build your company, tell yourself whether you want to sell it or not, that I'm going to build this company that I can sell it at some point in the future. Because building a company to sell means that you must have documented protocols, documented cash. There's no like, well, we made 2 million. Anyone that's going to buy your company is going to have to sign an NDA, and they want to look at your bank records. They want to look at your account. They're going to bring someone to look at this stuff. No one's just going to spend like $4 or $5 million while they're doing their due diligence. So they just got it like that. So I'm going to show you a book here. Let's see. I'm going to give you two. I think they're both by the same dude. Yep. All right. So we're going to go to Amazon. I'm going to show you these books. And for folks who ask questions and you hit me up there with that, you don't answer my question, I'm leaving. I wish you a merry and happy day. I hope the sun shines up your ass and make beautiful rainbows come out your mouth. Okay. All right, here's the book, Built to Sell, Creating a Business That Can Thrive Without You. Now, this is a good book to get where you can build a business, because it's going to talk about all the stuff that I'm talking about just in more detail. And then here's another companion book to get once you read the first book, The Automatic Customer. You can get both of these books on Kindle, or you can get it on Audible. I recommend Audible because you can get this information a day. And this is stuff you can read. And this is more of the pre-planning that you need to do, because if you get this book before you build your company, it's going to help you not do a lot of things. And if you have a company, then you're going to have to reinvent stuff or revise stuff. But those are the books, Built to Sell and The Automatic Customer. And the reason I do this is because I get like 50 emails like, what was the name of that book? So you can just rewind the video and see it, because I've put it there for you. All right, so let's come out of there. Nicholas Bailey, when you were using the old school tactics, how did you keep your dick in the pants? I've done business with a lot of women, and using those tactics ended with an invitation to the bedroom. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I fucked some customers. Let's be real. There's stories I'm never telling y'all because these are my friends, and I could tell them if I changed it. Well, you wouldn't know who they were. Oh, I fucked some customers. Oh, this is, there is a thing with me. I kind of knew what to do and what not to do. Like the chick with the roses, she was cool. I didn't know if she was married. So I didn't even check for that. I just wanted that juicy deal. So that wasn't my energy. It wasn't my energy. And then I remember with the other girl who was having problems with her husband, and once again, that was not my energy. Now, there's been some where it was real clear. I mean, one even said, so what are you doing tonight? I said, well, probably fucking you. She said, good answer. So yeah, that happened, but it wasn't every month. It was just here and there. It was, my main focus was getting that money. You get money, you got pussy. So, I mean, just, you got to focus on the money. You know, what was that old saying? No man has lost pussy chasing money, but many men have lost money chasing pussy. So pretty much. Jay Judge go, no, on combat MOS. Yeah, that's the reason I was saying get that high ass fab score. Code Labs, can we sell our online educational company if it's positioned in the marketplace correctly? Yes. Ben the bartender, wear a wedding ring. Scratch that, women love them. I've never tried that one. Kayla, I take screenshots. Cool. Savage, my day is better because of this live stream. I mean, typically, and I didn't do that stuff just for women. I did it for dudes too, like the guy with the architect book. You know, you just got to kind of figure some stuff out, because most people go through their day pretty unappreciated, and it doesn't take much for the I mean, do this. If you don't believe me, do this today. You're out and about and you're getting something to eat, and you just like pick anyone. I don't care. You know, don't pick no hot chick or some dude, anyone. Actually, intentionally pick someone you think is a little unfortunate and say, hey, your lunch is on me today. Don't ask them their name and everything. Pay and bounce. They will act like they want. They will be giddy. And the next time you go into that establishment, those people will remember you. They'll be like, man, that girl was like about to cry. She was just like so happy, and people start smiling, because most people are unappreciated. So if you show a little appreciation to your clients and stuff, just a little honest, sincere appreciation in line with stuff they really like, it goes a long, long way. Long, long way. Now, after you've built the company and you scaled it, because there's a whole bunch of things about taking on investors' money. There's people out there with money, but my thing is, and what I think you should do with your business, is do as much as you can without anyone else's money. As much, you know, meaning that, you know, if you got to use your credit to go to the bank you get along, I think that's cool, because that bank is not taking an equity position in your company. So yeah, that's cool. But do as much as you can on your own. Get your business to a working model. One of the big things is a lot of people want someone to invest in the concept, then use someone else's money to build out the whole thing. And they don't even know if it's going to work. That I think is crazy. That's really, really crazy. So let's see, where are we? Because this should be a shorter one today. Because today is Thursday. All right. Yeah, now who's going to do that? Who's going to buy someone lunch today? Just a stranger. It could be at McDonald's. It doesn't have to be at some super restaurant. It can be anything. Jay Judge, someone else's money gives them a voice in the company. Yep, you saw what happened to Steve Jobs. He got kicked out of his own company. Because here's this whole thing, people talking about business and big business. And when someone invests in your company, there's something called a term sheet. And part of that term sheet is they're getting a position in your company. The more money they invest, they're going to get a bigger position. So you got investor over here, you gave up 30% for 2 million. Investor B over here, you gave up 40% for 4 million. Whoa, 30, 40. They own more of your company than you do. And if A and B get together and like, you out, guess what? You're out. Somebody buy my lunch, PayPal works. That's funny. It really works better if it's done in person. And this is why. This is something like if you live in a town and you have a few places that you frequent, this works really well. Like say you go to, what's it, Jason's Deli, all right? And you go there quite a bit. If you do that at Jason's Deli, not only will the people who work there will acknowledge you and they will treat you better, but other people who are behind this action are going to look at you like, damn, that's a serious dude. Wow, that's a great lady. You're going to get all kinds of boost from that. And if there's someone in there that eventually that you have to do business with, you're that person that bought that lady lunch. I thought that was so great. They're just going to completely relax and let their hair down around you. So it works better in person. Kayla, I bought a friend some food, which they didn't expect, but not a stranger. Stranger. Because this is the thing. What's a business? It's an organization that sells stuff to strangers and hopefully turns them into friends. So the sooner that you become really good at handling strangers, the more money your business is going to make. What's up, Izzy? I want to hear some of the come up hustle stories. All right, I'm gonna help you out. I got you today, Mike Dunmore. I've got you. Hold on. Let's see. Let's share. We're all about the sharing today. I like that song. I'm gonna leave it. And what I'm gonna do, let's go here. And you want some hustler stories? Let's see. There's that playlist. I took it off the main page. Here we go. I'm gonna hook you up because I'm in a chill mood today. I have all kinds of playlists here. Let's see. There we go. 75 of them for you right here. You got all kinds of stories here. All right. Boom. Hustle stories for you because you asked. Now, how cool is that? As we stare at Fetty chest, Fetty Rap's small chest. Let's see. This thanks, Kayla. Tupac mindset. I've sold none of my businesses. Not a one. I fundamentally don't believe in selling businesses. There's this thing with family legacy and some other stuff I'm trying to do. So that's not my MO. But if you build a business to sell, it forces you to build it the correct way. Because if you build it shitty, you can still sell it, but they are going to play you hard and curve you on the sales price because you didn't do the right things. So you could easily lose $1 million, $2 or $3 million on that deal because you were trying to play it cheap. So those are the hustle stories. Oh, let's see. What's up, Akuna? Are you going to make a crowdfunding show? No, I've never done crowdfunding. I know nothing about it. I've participated in a few Kickstarters. I think, and this is just me, that that's good, and it's also limited because you'll go ahead and get all of this money from Kickstarter, or you'll get this money from Indiegogo, but I have not, I mean, all right, I've had a client that was doing 20, 30,000 a month, took him to 100 grand. And another client that was doing 100 grand a month, took him to 300,000. So my experience is I've seen people who had real businesses that they spent the time and effort to build that we were able to scale much better with better information than these Kickstarter folks ever got. So that's kind of why I'm not like really interested in it. SH flying to AL today. Kirk Johnson, oh my God, some other low hustler stories. Yeah, I took that off because I changed the direction. Yeah, there's, if you just climb, I mean, there's 1,200 videos on this channel that you can find, that you can see. And there's a, yeah, you would just go to the playlist because like I said, I took it off the main page, but yeah, there's a ton. Very true with decreased valuation with a badly organized business. Only a chump or a cutthroat shark will buy your business, pretty much, because first thing they're going to look at is your established customer base, because that's the majority of the business. You know, the building, that's nice. A real slick play is to own the building, lease it to the new owners, which some people do if they got good advice. But they're going to be looking at your revenues. They're going to be looking at, do you have reoccurring revenue? If your business has reoccurring revenue, it's going to get a multiple like 3 times as high than another business with the same revenue stream, because they have to do less work, and with some tweaking, they can make more money. Izzy, that's what happened to the guy who started Famous Amos Cookies. He lost all equity in his company. I haven't really jumped in that, but I think he just licensed his name and he really never owned shit. I think he was getting maybe 15% of the deal. I don't think he ever owned anything. And I think he had some very bad advice, because this channel used to be Glendon Cameron, right? And, following my own advice, that's like me. If I ever wanted to sell this, I would have to have it apart from me, because I'm not fucking selling my name. I'm not licensing my name like that unless I'm not doing it. So another reason is doing it. I know it may sound strange. I don't really want to be that famous that I can license my name. I really don't want to be. From my name standpoint, I would like to have a brand that famous that people knew around the world. That, yes, but who owns Maybelline? Who owns Mac? Nobody knows. It's all about the Mac. It's all about the Maybelline. It's the Revlon. It's all about Amazon. It's all about who owns Apple. I mean, the stockholders is a publicly traded company, but typically it doesn't matter because the brand is so strong. So who here is building, and this is one of the interesting things, like when I have these super serious, deep conversations about the hard work of building a business, a lot of people tune out. That's why, this is anti-hustler porn. That's why Tina Turner kept Turner. Yeah, she was kind of stuck with it because that's what she was known as. And that was another reason Marilyn Monroe, I forget her real name, she changed her name because she became a brand. So that's just super important stuff with all of that. All right. Who's going to do the free lunch today? Because people are just like, I'm going to ignore him, and I hope he doesn't mention it again. And who here is starting a business from scratch this year? Who's doing that? Norma Jean Mortensen. Yep, I didn't Google it, but I knew it was something real plain. Kayla Rose is Marilyn Monroe. Pharaoh, I'll tune in for your super serious talks. D. Wilson starting the business. Kirk's doing the free lunch. Mike Z is starting the business. The Real G is starting the business. The JWB, the free lunch opportunity comes up, I'll do it. Oh, okay, you did the project on her, cool. Kicking out that real game, Glendon, damn, just taking it all in. It's building a business is about building systems. I'm starting a business from scratch this year and I'm buying a stranger lunch today. Ah, that's good, good. I started a few. That's my idea to create a big brand. I started in 2015, Acuna. I am a service business, lawn care, cool. My goal is to start some up this year. Frank Jacobs, cool. Kayla Rose, I'm starting a social media marketing agency, cool. All right, okay. I was just checking if y'all had like a heartbeat or something because I was like, hey, who's doing this? Now, part of this thing is we're gonna make, let's see, oh, for show, big baby. I own a franchise for working my own brand at the same time. It's tough. Why did you decide to buy a franchise for show, big baby? That's cracking me up. Only I'm starting from scratch and would love to buy someone lunch, but I have to feed myself first. Can't wait to get there. Cool. Cool. And anybody got loose tea and want some empty tea bags for $9.99? Get at me on Amazon. Mike C, the hardest part of my business is creating a fraud protection system. What are you selling? Ben the bartender is selling one. Corey BO6, okay. Farrell's starting one. Matthew starting from scratch. Getting clients is a challenge. Yep. I'm starting a business from scratch. Monica. Elder becoming a real estate agent to find more deals from a real estate investment company. All right. For show, big baby. Didn't want to start from scratch. Got kids and obligations. Okay. How is your franchise working? Because I was working with someone who wanted to do Subway, and we found out that buying one wasn't enough. If you want to do about consistently 250 to 400,000 income for the owner, you needed 4 to 5. So if you're doing anything with Subway or something like that, Nicholas, hey Glenn, I'm going to ask yesterday, how do you feel about life coaches? Hold on a second. Let's go back to the share video. Let's go back to the sharing screen. Just hold on a second. That's ironic. That's hilarious, man. All right. Personal development, life coaches. What the? Come on. There we go. So let's see. No, thanks. Why? Don't do it. Just go ahead and watch this. And for those folks, I'll just put this in this just hilarious. That is really hilarious that you asked me that question. I did that stream last night, and it was real fun because I'll even show you the article. I'll show you the article in a second that started this whole thing, because I really believe in personal development, but I think there is a ton of bullshit out there, because personal development is really hard because I've done it on myself, and it's not something that you can do overnight. I'll even, this is in the video, but I'll just share, like last year I lost 40 pounds. No, 2015, I lost 40 pounds. 2016, I gained 8 back, which was expected, and I actually built a plan for it. Then I started doing the things I did before, and I lost 8 plus 2. So I'm like under that. And my goal is to lose 30 this year. So lose 30, and next year I may gain a little bit back. But the whole thing is I'm consistently going in the direction that I want over a period. This is personal development. That's how personal development works. It's not like a quick fix. It's not like boom, boom, boom. And I'm not trying to lose weight for, to get ready for the beach. I'm really losing weight to get ready for the rest of my life. So it's a slow and steady approach where I'm not like losing my mind and walking around angry and about to bitch people out. I've seen people on some of these crazy diets. So, and it's not even really a diet. It's just a life transformation. And that's how personal development works. Sports handicap site has similar team of 3. Cool. I sell digital CD keys for games and software. People use stolen. Oh, damn. You're really in that. For sure, big baby. Nah, no Subway or fast food. I'm in direct marketing and provide direct marketing service to Subways and the like. Okay. Yep. Talk about a day late. That's funny. I'll be testing small, cheap product. Cool, Kirk. Izzy. Who's in this 70 age range trying to start a new company? Oh, Famous Amos. He was in a Shark Tank trying to get investors and want to invest in him. Damn. That's really sad. That is. Glenception. Too funny. Yep, D. It's a marathon. My motivation started with an M&L. Nobody was buying my digital products, so I shifted to where my audience is. Most M&Lers want to get rich quick and be told the sky's the limit. Got to give them what they want. Like I said, that's something else I really don't know a lot about. Multi-level marketing. I've never done it. I'm just sticking with my core, and I'm sticking with stuff I know how to do. I know how to sell stuff. I know how to find products to sell. I know how to create products to sell. So for me and my walk in business is so different because I'm comfortable with failure. And a lot of these things are designed to not fail. And I think you learn more through failure. And that's why the person who was 18 talking about joining the military, I think that's a great move. Go ahead. You have income coming in. And then when you're off, you can work on your business. It's a great ideal. It's a great ideal. And I highly encourage it because getting out of your parents' house is going to it's going to force you to grow up. It's just going to force you to grow up in ways that you've not even pondered at the moment. All right, so I'm getting ready to bounce. Just letting y'all know something big is coming up, and everyone who buys, there's a few, everyone that buys the Never Broke Action Pack, it's $150. You're gonna get a $450 credit off this new thing that's coming. Just letting you know, I'll talk more and more about that. It's gonna be about building e-commerce businesses. I'm still going through the Never Broke Action Pack. I purchased a brand new vanity for $80 and sold it for $320. Thanks. It works. If you do the work, it works. I'm glad to hear that, D. Congratulations, because let's do the math. $80 plus $150 is $230. So with with the cost of acquiring that vanity and selling, you are damn near $90 up. One deal paid for the course. One deal. And this, I sound like that real estate guy. Congratulations. Ryan Huntley, I'm looking to become the notary and build a business around it. Cool. Congratulations, D. All right, so with that, share this video with someone you care about. Be sure to subscribe. And after the video renders, leave a comment. So with that, I'm out.